I'll ask everyone not to show up the Carré and Plamondon. This is not the right time. This is not the right place to be. There's still an important police operation. Our heart is with all the victim family. We got a confirmation that one of the officers passed away. So for us, it's a very sad moment. Very sad moment. That's it.
Êtes-vous surpris qu'un tel événement survienne comme ça à Montréal?
Oui, surpris, sur le choc, comme vous pouvez voir. Ça s'invente pas. Vraiment.
Quel genre de mesures ou d'effectifs supplémentaires sont déployés? Parce qu'on parle de
What kind of additional staff do you have? What kind of resources are you assigning to this? Well, what I disliked the most was having to deal with this. But I can tell you that I'm very touched by what has happened. I'm here with other police officers, so it's a sad day. Well, there are two things. People should not be going out, as I said earlier, and everyone is working together on this. We're getting support from the City of Montreal. We'll do whatever is necessary. We are acting on this, but yes, I did speak to a number of individuals, the Mayor of Montreal, and this is a very tough time for the police service. Doing everything possible, everything that's necessary. We're on the ground, and the crisis unit is being set up. Are there other suspects, other victims? We will see.
Écoutez, mon expérience policière me ramène
my police experience, I mean, there was the shooting in Dawson, and a lot of information was circulating. So I think it's important to be cautious, very cautious when these things occur. I'm speaking to you as a police officer, a former police officer, so I don't want to contribute to any disinformation, but the entire team and the City of Montreal, the various elected officials, and colleagues are all working on this. What is the role of the government in a situation like this? Well, it's to ensure that everything that is possible is being done. We know that the SQ is also on the ground, and we want to be sure we're here to provide support. And once we know exactly what happened, we're going to look at what can be done. Do we have enough resources? If not, we'll be there. For now, we don't really know what the motive of this individual was. That would just be speculation on my part. So the Premier and I are following this very closely. And as I say, this is a very significant announcement that was made today in Montérégie.
But Cody is a former peacekeeper himself, so as police officers, for us it was a duty to do so.
Parlez-nous de la cellule de crise, vous avez évoqué ça. Qui est là? Qu'est-ce que vous faites?
La première ministre elle-même, c'est ce qu'elle a convoqué. Elle voulait s'assurer qu'on a toutes les ressources
wanted to make sure that all possible resources would be assigned to this. Someone was asking what the role of the government is. Well, first of all, we don't want to be a counterpoint. We want to be there to support. That's why I'm here. You won't see me on the crime scene right now. The police officers are there, and they'll arrest the people that need to be arrested. But we're there to support them. What can you say to the family of the victim? That's the message.
Merci.
Thank you.
There might be. Okay. So that's Ian Lafrenière, who is Quebec's domestic security minister, saying that he was there. He was in Saint-Constant for an announcement, but said that that is being delayed. That because of the situation in Montreal, in Côte-des-Neiges, where, as we've been reporting, a police officer is dead, a civilian is dead, a resident of the area, and the suspect is also dead, saying that it's crime scene right now. He said that he was not going to get into the number of suspects and any kind of information like that, that the Montreal police are going to be holding a news conference in about 20 minutes from now. He will let them do that. Also, the Premier is on her way or in Montreal as well, and is closely following all of this. but saying basically, don't go outside. This is a crime scene. It's an ongoing operation. And of course, the thoughts are with the victims of this, including a police officer. And just for our viewers who may know or may not know, just reporting in Quebec, Ian Lafrenière was a police officer himself for many, many years and is now the Minister of Public Safety or Domestic Security. Tricia Kindelman has been following this, so as we can see, it is obviously an ongoing situation.
Yeah, and you could even see him feeling some emotion there at the end of it. I think, obviously his connection to the police service, I think very evident there as he did get a little choked up at the end of his statement there. He also did note that there was essentially what he called a crisis summit being planned. So multiple levels of government and first responders are planning to gather, to meet, to talk about this situation as they do learn more about it as well. He was saying that he was surprised and he was shocked to learn about this situation which had unfolded in this very central part of Montreal today. He did also say that it is a very tough day for the city of Montreal, for the Montreal police as well, and that he also says that there are a number of different levels of first responders that are on the ground. You can see here, even just in these pictures, a number of ambulances at the scene, a number of police cars and things as well. So this is a very active crime scene at this point. Like you said, Andrew, people being asked to continue to stay away, continue to stay indoors, to allow police to do their work. He also was not able to talk about a motive at this point. That was another thing he said that he would sort of leave to the police to discuss and talk about that. He said anything at this point on his part would just be speculation. So he did decline to sort of go down that pathway. But he did say that they will look at what can be done. He was asked a few times sort of what the role of government would be in response to this situation. And he just basically said it's looking at what can be done. If there's more resources needed, well, we'll supply it. So obviously a fluid situation that's being dealt with today, but it does sound like it could lead to some questions and conversations unfolding down the road as well, Andrew, and who knows what sort of change that could lead to.
And I just want to let our viewers know, I'm also monitoring our colleagues at Radio-Canada, and I'll just translate what the information they have that's getting a little bit more specific. They say, using French, I can tell they say a male officer is dead and a female officer has been seriously wounded, is the language that they're using. So that's just, that's what our colleagues at Radio-Canada are reporting. We also got some reaction from the Premier of Quebec. She has just responded saying that she's deeply saddened by the tragic events that occurred today in the Côte-des-Neiges area. My thoughts are with the families of the deceased, the injured, the police force, and all those affected by this tragedy. She goes on to say, I thank the police officers, first responders, and all those involved in the response. While the operation and investigation are still ongoing, it is essential to let the authorities do their work and avoid any speculation. And finally saying the Quebec government offers its full cooperation to the relevant authorities and will remain present to support the victims, their families, and the community. Such acts have no place here, and that we're monitoring the situation closely. So we're hearing from the Premier. And next up, we are going to hear from the Montreal Police Force.
Yes, I think that will be the update that will provide us a lot of clarity that we're sort of lacking at this point in time, specifically around whether this is an active, ongoing situation or if it has shifted into that investigation mode and sort of. So I think that will be one of the key questions that will be answered. As you were just talking about the Premier responding to the situation, we heard earlier from the Mayor of Montreal saying she's also monitoring, the Mayor of Côte-des-Neiges, this community where this has happened directly, saying she is closely watching too. So it does seem to be that there is a lot of cooperation seemingly coming from the multiple layers of government, multiple layers of first responders and that sort of thing. Everyone really working together to respond to this very fluid, ongoing situation.
And in fact, there's also reaction from the Mayor of Montreal. One of our colleagues just sent this to me. I'm just going to try and quickly translate it, just offering her condolences to the family, to those who are close to the police officer who died. in the line of duty, and that her thoughts are equally with the people that have been touched affected by this tragedy, and that they are following all of this closely and asking that people in the neighborhood follow all of the advice from the Montreal Police Service. So just some more reaction there. Tricia, we'll let you gather some more news, and we'll speak to you again soon, but thank you. The CBC's Tricia Kendallman. So I want to bring in criminologist Dan Jones now. He's a former Edmonton police officer and now an instructor at Norquest College in the Alberta capital. Dan, appreciate you taking the time. Obviously, this is a ongoing situation, and we just don't know exactly what led to all of this, but we do know that there are now 3 people dead in the Côte-des-Neiges area of Montreal, including a police officer, a citizen, as well as a suspect. What do you make of what seems to be unfolding?
Well, it's tragic and it's terrible, and you have a police officer that's in critical condition. You have a police officer dead. In Canada right now, we have 2 police officers shot last night in Melville. This is just unprecedented violence against the police in Canada over the last little while, with the police officer being killed in Toronto. I'm not sure what to make of it, other than it seems like people have lost that, I don't know, fear or respect in not shooting police officers in this country.
And there's another police officer, an OPP officer, who was killed in Ontario as well. So this is now the third police officer in less than 3 weeks. I think it's about 2 weeks, in the last little while, that has been killed in the line of duty in this country, as well as you mentioned, other police officers injured in Saskatchewan. I mean, it does seem like my colleague was calling it a bit of a rash of police killings just over in a short period of time. What do you think's going on?
Well, to me, it's either this is just extremely sad coincidence, or there is some type of feeling out there that it is not that it's okay to start harming our police officers in their line of duty. And if that is a trend that's happening, it's a scary one. And it's one that makes me think of my former colleagues in the policing world and their day-to-day duties, and how do you go to work in your day-to-day when in 2 weeks this many shootings have occurred with police officers, and how do you go to work without having that sense of fear of you not coming home or being injured at work?
Yeah, and there are some key questions I'm sure that you have. What would be your key questions right now in terms of the Montreal investigation that's taking place, or the Montreal situation that's taking place?
I know it was the minister talked about it the one time, and my big concern would be motivation. What is the motivation of this? And I know they're saying stay in your houses, that this is an ongoing crime scene. They haven't come out and said that there's no danger. So my question is there more than one? What was the motivation? What is happening? Was this a targeted shooting towards the police? And if so, how does that impact the Montreal police going forward?
And we know that, I know this area of Montreal. It's a pretty densely populated area of Montreal. It's like this is an urban, an urban area where there are lots of people. This is kind of, and many shots fired, according to some witnesses talking to the Canadian press. I mean, this is probably like the least ideal, or not a very ideal situation, right? When you've got that kind of violence taking place in a neighborhood like this.
Well, yeah, and the other thing you have to start doing as a police agency is you have to start looking and see if there's any victims out there that were hit by stray rounds. If there's multiple rounds being shot, you don't know where those rounds have gone. Are there people in their homes injured? Are there people in their homes that have been killed? And this crime scene becomes like exponentially growing as the police officers are doing this investigation when it's a densely populated area. And do you have enough resources? And I know that was talked about in the previous statement. And where are you going to get those resources from if you have to deal with multiple crime scenes resulting from this incident?
Just a final thought in terms of what you really want to know from Montreal police coming up in the next few minutes.
What I really want to know is what the charges are and who's involved, and if this is a specific event towards the police, or was this just as a result of a call they went to where someone reacted.
Dan. Thank you. Dan Jones in Edmonton. He is a criminologist and former city police officer. To some other news that we're following now briefly, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance is heading home today after leading negotiations with Iran in Switzerland over the weekend. Today, Vance described the talks as very good, and he said the two sides made some important breakthroughs. Here are a few of the key points Vance made earlier. He said Iran agreed to let nuclear inspectors back into the country to monitor its nuclear program. Vance described a new mechanism that he says will prevent flare-ups of violence, like fighting between Israel and Hezbollah from spiraling out of control and upending the entire peace process. Vance said the two sides also agreed on a process for the technical negotiations that will take place in the coming days and weeks. The U.S. Vice President also said if any of Iran's frozen assets are unfrozen, there will be a process in place to ensure those assets are not used to fund terrorism. The CBC's Sasha Petrusik is tracking the latest developments from Washington. He joins us live. So, Sasha, Vance seemed most pleased about Iran agreeing to let nuclear inspectors back into the country. How big of a deal is that?
Well, Andrew, this has been one of the major issues, and Vance was signaling that Washington is seeing what happened over the last 24 to 36 hours in Switzerland as a positive start to the talks, and he did seem most pleased that this thorniest part of the disagreement, the future of Iran's nuclear program,
entreprise. Un agent d'une efficacité remarquable, un agent habité par sa mission.
Speaking about the police officer,
Mes pensées vont à sa famille
thinking of his
et
family
sa famille élargie, tous les policiers et policières du
and
SPVM
his police
et tous
family
les policiers et policières de la province du Québec.
and all of the police officers throughout
La grande famille,
the province
j'ai
of Quebec.
tous les citoyens de Montréal qui étaient prêts à protéger au péril de sa vie.
He lost.
Of his life.
Et par respect pour sa famille,
Out
s'il
of
vous plaît,
respect for police
je vous
officers
demande à
and
tous,
the
médias,
families,
utilisateurs de
I
réseaux
ask
sociaux, de faire
the
preuve de
media
retenue.
to show restraint on
À
social
tous les
media.
policières et policiers
To all the
qui ont
police
risqué,
officers
voire donné leur vie, afin
who
que
have
d'autres
given
vivent.
their life so
nom de
that
tous les
others can
citoyens de
live,
Montréal,
and to
je
all
veux
the
leur
citizens of
témoigner
Montreal,
notre
I
plus
want
grande
to
gratitude et
express our
policière
gratitude
blessée,
to them.
Au nom de tout le SPVM,
On
je
behalf
veux
of
lui
the
dire,
entire police service,
tiens bon,
I
et
want to
tous
say
derrière
to
toi.
the injured police officers, please
Maintenant-
hang on. And now,
Maintenant la chronologie des événements.
the chronology of events.
Juste un instant. Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour.
Ladies
Voici
and
ce que je peux vous
gentlemen,
dire en
this
ce
is what
moment.
I can tell you at this time.
Appel logé au 911 vers
A
11h35
911 call
au
at
911
9:35
décarré à l'hôtel Hilton par un citoyen ayant vu
from
un canon
a
sortir
citizen
d'une fenêtre et entendu des coups de feu.
who was
Les policiers
seen
répondent à l'appel,
shooting.
arrivent et se font
The
tirer
police arrived
dessus.
and were
Échange de
shot
coups de feu à
at.
l'extérieur au niveau de
There were
la rue.
exchanges of fire
Un suspect
outside.
neutralisé est
One
décédé.
suspect was
Un citoyen
neutralized
décédé.
and is now dead. One
Un
police
policier
officer
décédé.
is
Une
also
policière qui
dead.
était dans un état critique
A
est
female
maintenant dans un état stable et
police
ne craint plus
officer
pour
is
sa vie.
now in stable condition after being shot.
Désolé. Un citoyen a été blessé
A
légèrement.
citizen
Une arme
was
longue
slightly
utilisée par les
injured,
suspects
and the
le
weapon
suspect a été
used by
saisi.
the suspect has
État
been
actuel de la
seized.
situation.
Current situation.
Présentement, une opération de
Right
fouille
now,
afin de
the
sécuriser les lieux et
operation
vérifier s'il y a
is
d'autres victimes
continuing to
et
secure the
éventuellement
area
sceller des scènes de crime.
and
Nous n'avons aucune
seal
information à
the
l'effet
crime
qu'il y aurait
scene.
un
We
autre
have no
suspect.
information yet to
Nous demandons à la
say that there's
population
another
d'éviter le
suspect.
secteur.
We're asking people to
Ceux qui
remain,
sont à l'intérieur du quadrilatère d'opération
not
demeurent
to
à
go into the
l'intérieur
area, to
jusqu'à
allow
nouvel ordre.
Montreal Police
Les
to
familles du
carry out their
policier
work.
et de la policière ont été avisées.
The
Nous sommes
families of the
par
two
la
officers
situation.
have been
Le BI
advised
est avisé immédiatement
and
et
informed.
prendra en charge une fois la scène
And
sécurisée et déterminera quel corps
We will
policier
determine, once the
sera
area has
identifié
been
pour mener
secured,
l'enquête parallèle.
what kind of
Nous vous
parallel
reviendrons
investigations
dès
are
que nous aurons d'autres
required.
informations validées en
As soon as we
coordination
have
avec le
other
BI.
validated information, we will provide it.
Toutes les informations, toutes les vérifications sont en train de se faire pour l'instant.
Verifications are being
Donc, je
done
peux
at
pas
this
vous
time,
confirmer,
so
vous
I
affirmer
cannot
si c'est un
confirm
guet-apens.
whether
Mais je
it
peux-
was
pour
a
l'instant,
trap
l'enquête
or
est
not.
vraiment, on est dans le cas où on suit les événements.
We're just following the events at this time.
Ouais, c'est plus que terrible. C'est un
It's
drame.
more
et
than
c'est un
terrible.
cauchemar.
It's a tragedy. It's a nightmare.
Mais c'est la moindre des choses. C'est l'un des
That's
pires
the
cauchemars que
least
tu
we
peux
can
avoir.
do. This is the worst nightmare for us.
Notamment l'envoi de manifestes aux médias. Qu'est-ce que vous savez là-dessus?
Il y a des informations qui sont
There
similaires à ce
is
que vous venez de dire.
information
On
that
fait
has been
l'enquête, puis on va
circulating,
voir un peu plus tard
but
c'était quoi ses
we
objectifs, c'était quoi son
will know
intention.
more in the coming
It's my
hours.
understanding that a member of the Jewish community was shot, potentially by police. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
What did you say?
I heard that a member of the Jewish community
I don't
was
have
shot.
I don't have this information.
Okay.
Who was the civilian who was shot?
I don't have the information yet.
Who shot the civilian?
I don't have the information yet.
Can you tell us,
We were right on the operation right now.
can you tell us in English how you're feeling today?
Je m'excuse là.
Can you tell us in English how you're feeling today as the leader of the police?
It's a very, very sad day. It's a nightmare. and but we have to be solid. We have to be solid for our lady police officer who survived, and we're all behind her. And well, that's it. I can say more.
Excusez, on va juste, si vous permettez, on va commencer par des questions en français, s'il vous plaît.
I spoke to the brother of the young lady. On a demandé à évacuer, on veut pas prendre aucune chance.
We asked people to be evacuated. We wanted to be sure we would secure the entire area and not have any further events. But we have no information that there are other events. But to be cautious, we wanted to widen the crime scene and secure the area to be certain that we were controlling the situation. So is the operation completed? No, it is not. It is still going on. Do you believe that the suspect acted alone? Well, we don't have much information on that. We're still waiting to see what the motive was. But it only happened a few hours ago. And we haven't demystified the situation yet. But what is important to us now is completing the operation as safely as possible for the people who live in the area. And once the area has been secured, we will move ahead. You have my admiration and courage for the officers who acted at the scene. Very proud of the officers who intervened here and responded at the risk of their own lives. So I'm very, very, very supportive of them. I hope that everyone is vigilant at this time. When this kind of event occurs, I mean, it's been 24 years since we lost police officers, since 2002. Mr. Lécuyer.
Non, excusez-moi, quand je dis plusieurs scènes, c'est les périmètres. Excusez-moi. On a beaucoup plus élargi pour être sûr.
We have a much wider perimeter that has been established to be sure that the entire area has been secured.
Des endroits où il pourrait y avoir un intérêt, quelqu'un d'autre faisait de quoi, mais on n'a personne d'autre. On a un suspect.
There's only one suspect.
J'ai aucune idée, mais vous
I have no idea. We will be providing a report as we receive more information, and we'll be able to tell you exactly how many police officers answered the call.
C'est la première fois qu'un événement comme ça vous arrive depuis que vous êtes chef de police au SPVM et vous attendiez vraiment pas à ça aujourd'hui, donc vos pensées vont bien sûr à la famille, mais vous, derrière la casquette, comment vous sentez aujourd'hui?
How do you feel today? Well, you know, I'm in operations mode. I'm the police chief speaking to you right now. So this is no time for emotion on my part. I want to support the troops, and I can say that they have my full admiration. They're doing an extraordinary job at the risk of their lives.
Je sais pas quoi vous répondre.
I don't know what to say. This is something. It's an absolute nightmare. But the chief has to remain standing and support the troops, and that's what I'm doing. Now we're going to conduct an investigation and turn this over to the OBE, and that office has been informed. We immediately advised them of what was occurring, and they received our call, and so they will be taking over once we've completed the operation. But we want to be sure that the entire area has been secured and that all the pertinent information is passed on.
Est-ce que vous avez déjà identifié le tireur?
Have you identified the shooter?
Décédé.
Yes, the suspect is dead. What can you say to reassure people in the area? Well, it's important to be very careful of rumors and to what is being said on social media, because the immediate threat has been neutralized. You can be absolutely certain of that. The event we're talking about today, again, the main suspect has been neutralized. So we'll see what the motive was behind this. But to hear that our police officers responded so quickly at the risk of their own lives, one wounded and one killed, so it's the proof that police officers are very much engaged.
Why is there so much going
but from the beginning, we wanted to make sure that we really bring the security in the priority for the citizen. So sometimes the population can react like, how come they're blocking everywhere? Well, as a chief, as my team, we want to make sure that all the citizens are secure before we open the street and the road.
You spoke to another victim who was, the officer who was killed. What was that discussion like?
It was a very tough discussion, very tough, and very difficult moment.
The shooter?
We don't know yet. We don't know yet. I'm hoping that we're going to find out what was his motive, but we don't know yet.
How long were the officers on the force? How old are they, the ones who were...
Those details I will give it to you a bit later, but he was a great police officer. A lot of credibility, and he was so passionate, very passionate.
At this point in time, is the situation over and is the community safe?
At this point, the immediate threat is controlled, safe, so the community is safe.
Could you describe the timeline of events?
Well, everything started around 11:35, and then went on. Right away, the police officer, the lady, and the police officer who died respond to the call immediately, and there's an exchange fire on the level of the streets right away.
Why was the alert sent out? We've seen shootings before, but on our phones we got an alert saying show.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that the whole population knew about it, and to avoid a certain area. That's why we did it right away.
But when the alert had been sent out, was the suspect already dead?
Say again, sorry?
When the alert had been sent to people, was the suspect already dead?
Well, yes. Yeah.
Do we have any understanding of when the civilian? Tell us a little bit more about was he killed? A man or a woman?
Honestly, I can't go to those details because we know that the person, the main suspect, the way he was dressed and the way he was behaving, he's the one who got shot right away. But for the other person, I don't have the details yet. But eventually, we're going to find out more.
It looked like he was dressed in like military type attire.
This is what you're saying. We'll see.
Do you believe any other suspects are at large?
No. No, not this point. I have no details, no intel coming this, but the way he was dressed, he's right.
And what about this idea that police officers could have been the specific target? Like this is a rumor going around.
Well, listen, we received a 911 call coming from a citizen. So I don't know, but I don't think it was police target, but maybe we'll see what the investigation will tell us. But it was a 911 call from a citizen telling us there's somebody who's shooting from a specific place. And at that moment, when the police came, that person wasn't on the different floors, he was already on the rez-de-chaussée. Then the crossfire starts.
Do you believe that the shooter called?
Let me finish in English.
Do you believe that the shooter called the police for an ambush or was a third party?
I don't have that detail yet. Ce que je disais tout à l'heure, c'est qu'on a reçu un appel vers 11h35 et les policiers ont répondu à cet appel-là. Donc c'est un citoyen, quelqu'un, un témoin.
Police officers responded to that call. So it was a citizen that called saying that they saw a shooter, and the police immediately responded. And when they got to that area, there were shots exchanged.
At this point in time,
on the ground floor.
Treated as a criminal act or as a terrorism act?
We don't have that detail yet.
Could you describe the firearm that was used?
No, not yet.
So it is possible.
It's a long range.
It's possible. Is it among the hypotheses that police were the specific target?
I don't have that detail yet.
Il y a une situation similaire qui a eu lieu hier en Saskatchewan. Est-ce que on peut...
Et parfois, il peut y avoir des emballements, des événements qui sont arrivés en Australie ou ailleurs, font en sorte que ça peut nous arriver à nous.
People can be influenced by events that occurred elsewhere, such as Australia.
On a vu sur des images une personne avoir été interpellée par les policiers, menottes, le centre d'achat est évacué. Est-ce que c'est en lien avec l'opération?
J'ai pas encore ce détail-là, vous me l'apprenez.
I don't know, I'm not aware of that.
Les écoles confinées aussi?
Oui. Oui, et c'est fait exprès parce qu'on veut pas prendre aucun risque.
Just don't want to take any risk.
Elle est terminée. Donc ça veut dire que l'opération est en train de se cheminer.
So that means that the operation is coming to an end, and
traverser, marcher,
people will be able to circulate freely.
Oui, d'autres questions?
How you feeling?
Well, again, it's a tragic moment. It's a real nightmare. And knowing that you get engaged in the police to protect and serve and get killed, well, it's a dramatic moment for me as a chief, for my troops. But I know my troops. I'm very proud of them. I met them at the hospital. I was at the 2 hospital. And I know they're fragile, but I know that they're gonna be able to go through it. You know, when we become a police officer, knowing the risk. We don't expect never this to happen, especially the parents, the family, when they find out. It's a tough moment, very, very difficult moment.
Vous nous l'expliquez en français, votre passage à l'hôpital?
Je suis passé à l'hôpital, rencontré 2 policiers. La première, la policière, elle a été transférée à notre hôpital. Lorsque je suis arrivé au 2e hôpital, mon policier est décédé. J'ai rencontré les policiers avec qui il était. Et ça a été extrêmement difficile parce que vous vous engagez pour protéger, servir au risque de votre vie. C'est une fois ça dit, on s'attend pas du tout à ça. Et là, ça arrive. Autant pour les familles proches de notre policier victime, de la policière, mais je tiens à réitérer, la policière est hors de danger. Il y a plein de rumeurs qui courent sur elle.
I just want to state again that the police officer is out of danger at this time. I spoke to the brother of the police officer, so it's very difficult.
J'ai pas l'âge ni le nombre d'années exact de profession. Je peux vous dire une chose. J'ai croisé à 2 reprises sur le terrain, on a continué à échanger ensemble. Ce différent chez G il y a 2-3 ans, il est excellent. C'est un excellent policier. C'est drôle quand j'ai vu.
He's an excellent police officer. When I saw his name, I said yes, I know him. I met him twice.
There was only one suspect.
Sorry?
What made you confident that there was only one suspect?
Well, as soon as we neutralized the suspect, as soon as we did it, right away we searched everywhere. That's why the crime of sign, the scène de crime, and the perimeter was so large just to make sure we didn't have any other suspect running around or doing anything wrong. But no, we are convinced that right now, in that event of 11:35, where we received 911 call, the target and the threat is neutralized. That's what I can tell you.
Do you believe?
Say again?
He wasn't a part of a larger network.
No, we don't know yet. We don't know. We don't have this information. Maybe in 6 hours, 24 hours, we're going to come back with different information. For now, at that moment, that you have to be really careful. We're not jumping to any conclusion. But right now, what we are concerning about 911 call, about that suspect and the weapon that he had with him, that one is controlled.
At which point do you think more information will be coming out?
We don't know yet. To be honest with you, to be with you right now here during the operation, during the event, and being transparent, honest, and truthful to the community, it's a very fast move to be meeting with you here on the streets. But to be honest, let's wait to see what are the results of the investigation, where we're going from now. But it's too early to draw any conclusion.
Monsieur Daguerre, l'implication du BI, est-ce que c'est simplement parce que le suspect est décédé ou c'est des circonstances particulières?
Non, dès qu'il y a des blessures graves, dès qu'il y a décès, le BI est tout de suite informé.
Monsieur Daguerre, je parlais tantôt, si le suspect a été identifié, c'est en lien à savoir est-ce que vous êtes déjà à sa résidence, qu'il vient de l'ouest du pays, est-ce que vous avez des informations sur lui?
Non, pas pour l'instant, mais je peux vous dire une chose. Beaucoup de choses vont se développer dans les prochaines minutes.
I can tell you that a lot of things will be developing in the next few days. So I gather that you're working in partnership with the Sûreté du Québec. I'm not sure whether the helicopter you heard was from the SQ.
Parce que la Sûreté du Québec, c'est en lien aussi avec l'autoroute. L'autoroute 15 a été fermée, donc il y a sûrement un grand problème de trafic, de circulation, donc c'est probablement pour ça, mais je ne sais pas, mais je sais que
it could be for that reason, I really don't know.
Quel corps de police va l'accompagner dans cet événement majeur?
Do you believe the SPVM has all the resources to figure it out?
Oh yes, but like I say, from very soon it's going to be the BI going to take over.
Donc, question en anglais?
Non.
j'ai vécu 2002 avec M. Lécuyer, mais je n'étais pas dans les institutions. Mais comme directeur, c'est la première.
L'autoroute fermée également, là, il y a plus de précédent, là, du genre.
Je sais pas si est blessé, mais elle est hors de danger. C'est ma première.
With this situation being contained, do you have any timeline of when we can expect the streets around to be reopened?
No. To be honest with you, that's my last concern for now. I just want to make sure that everything is well done.
Qu'est-ce que vous pouvez me dire de la gravité de cet événement? C'est du jamais vu, rarement vu, un tireur comme ça.
Je ne sais pas encore. L'événement de M. Lécuyer en 2002 était différent. Celui-là, je ne connais pas toutes les conclusions encore. Donc, une fois qu'on va en apprendre beaucoup plus, on va sûrement avoir... on va voir qu'est-ce qu'on va faire, parce que pour l'instant, c'est tellement tôt. Il faut attendre. Il faut pousser l'enquête avec le BI et l'autorité de police. Mais une fois qu'on aura des idées claires, on va savoir c'est quoi le motif, c'est quoi l'intention, qu'est-ce qui était préparé. Là, on va pouvoir mieux répondre à la question. Ça va? Merci beaucoup tout le monde.
Merci.
Merci.
Right, you've been listening to the Montreal's police chief speaking at length about an operation that took place this morning that has left a police officer dead, another police officer in hospital who is out of danger, as well as a suspect dead. The operation is over. It ended live during that news conference in the Côte-des-Neiges area of Montreal. The CBC's Sarah Levitt has been listening in, and she joins us live from Montreal. So, Sarah, what more do we know? What did we learn?
Well, Andrew, as you said, during that press conference, you may have heard some of the loud, kind of almost like a siren noise, and that is the Quebec alert system going off on people's cell phones saying that this operation is over. It started just before noon. Police say they received a call about a shooter in an area of Montreal near a highway. It's an area that has a hotel. There's a high rise with condos as well as businesses on the ground floor. And police arrived on the scene and were shot at. And now we do know that one police officer is dead. Another police officer is in hospital but out of danger. We also know that a citizen has been killed and another citizen is injured. The shooter also killed during the operation. Lots of information coming out, but a lot of information that will be verified throughout this investigation. Important to note now that operation is over, the Quebec police watchdog will take over, as they do with any operation that involves police being injured or somebody being killed. But we do know that this set off a wide operation across a large perimeter where the shooting took place. As I said, very busy. And then actually, for example, as an example of this wide perimeter, about 5 kilometers away is St. Joseph's Oratory, which was evacuated. The police saying for a certain time they weren't certain there was another person involved, so they stretched that perimeter out. The police chief saying this is a terrible day, that a police officer was killed, that they go into this job with the knowledge that it's dangerous, but that they never expect something like this to happen. The police chief saying he spoke to the brother of the officer killed. And the police chief emotional during that press conference, saying he shouldn't be, but it's hard not to when someone from his force is killed. The alert that was just sent out means that now some of the things that had happened around this operation, the closure of the highway, the metro not stopping at the station nearby, those will be lifted. But of course, lots of questions about what happened here. You know, earlier we spoke to somebody who is the manager or the owner of a grocery store there that was occupied by police. Now, he wasn't on site, but he was watching everything from security cameras. Here's what he had to say about what happened.
The SWAT team came, a big group of police officers came, and since our doors were locked, obviously to protect our customers and our staff, the police weren't sure exactly where the shooting took place, and they wanted to secure the entire premise. So they broke through our entrance doors to our grocery store. And soon after, they made an entrance, about 6 or 7 police officers, there was a canine dog, and they ordered all the customers and staff to get on the ground to make sure everyone was safe and nobody was armed, because they weren't sure where the threat was coming from.
So, Andrew, as we heard from the police chief there, lots of questions asked by journalists that just couldn't be answered. One thing he did say was that they believe that this shooter acted alone, that he was using a long arm rifle, and that, again, let's just remind people that now one police officer is dead, a citizen also dead, as well as the shooter himself. And a citizen injured, as well as another police officer. That's what we know so far.
And Sarah, yeah, that police officer, it's the first, I didn't know this until he mentioned it, but the first police officer to die in Montreal in 24 years. But this is the third police officer in this country in just the last couple of weeks or so. What more do we know? It sounds like not much, but we've talked about the suspect in terms of what we know. We've talked about the police officer. What about the citizens? We don't know much, right, about the citizen who is the resident who is dead, and the other who is, I think the words he used was slightly injured.
Yeah, exactly. So questions were asked about that. He didn't want to give a lot of answers because he says things are ongoing in this investigation to figure out what exactly happened. And he also cautioned, because there are a lot of videos going on social media about the event, unverified, unsure the provenance of those videos, but he cautioned about making any conclusions from those videos, and says that is exactly why the police watchdog is coming in, so that they can investigate to see what happened. Questions about who this citizen was, what he was doing there. We don't have those answers. We just know that he, I shouldn't even say he, I don't even know the gender of the person killed, but there was a citizen in the crossfire that was killed. And then, of course, another citizen. As I said, though, Andrew, this area is well frequented, condo buildings, hotel, as well as businesses. So it could have been somebody going to get their groceries, for example. Yeah. So it's just a series of very unfortunate events ending up with the death of this citizen as well as this police officer.
And Sarah, just for the context of our viewers, you know, when you think of the Côte-des-Neiges area, a few things come to mind, but you'll be able to better explain it because I haven't lived there in years. In Montreal, but you know, it's urban, it's dense, it's diverse. There's a significant English-speaking population in the area. Just tell us a little bit more about how you describe Côte-des-Neiges.
Yeah, well, this particular area actually is very newly developed. It has a whole bunch of high-rises that have recently been built, and the businesses, because it is such a populated borough. The Côte-des-Neiges borough is the most populated and the most diverse of Montreal. This particular area, I would say urban density at its core, you know, the businesses that have been built up over time. So, and we even spoke to someone who was in his condo when he heard the shots being fired, looked out his window and saw the operation, saw as it was happening. And he said that they have a group chat for their condo building and everybody was talking. Yeah. He also said that police officers were going floor to floor to see anybody injured, checking the premises to make sure everything was clear.
Sarah, thank you. That is the CBC's Sarah Levitt live in Montreal. Meanwhile, in Saskatchewan, 2 RCMP officers have been shot while responding to a complaint about an assault in the eastern city of Melville. It happened last night. The officers are now in hospital in stable condition. Saskatchewan RCMP's chief superintendent spoke about the incident earlier today and paid tribute to the officers.
This incident is a stark reminder of the danger police officers face every day.